let me back up. I keep all my credit frozen because I want to know who you pulling from.
That's right.
I let them deny me first. I do that on purpose. I
Mm.
let them deny me first because if I don't already know prior knowledge of who you pulling from, then I'm just gonna freeze them all. And then when you tell me, you send me the email and you be like, or you may send me a letter and say, okay, we could not grant you this credit because we was not able to pull your Equifax or we were not able to pull your TransUnion or your Experian. Then
Mm.
guess what? Okay, let me unfreeze
Let me
that
unfreeze.
one.
Wow.
Yeah, let me
Wow.
unfreeze that one because sometimes, and unbeknownst to y'all, sometimes they'll pull all of them if you got them all unfroze, and they don't need but
Mm.
one technically,
Right. Wow.
because some of them
Wow.
will. But
Yeah.
they got one core one that they're really looking at.
Mm.
They all have one core one.
Here, certified FICO professional. Super excited to bring you guys a guest speaker that we have today because I know you guys love to talk about credit cards and specifically American Express. So either way, I won't take too much away from her time that we have because we got a short amount of time with her, but she's going to show you guys how to get multiple American Express cards with one inquiry, okay? And of course, I haven't seen anybody else deliver the way that she's delivered this information. But either way, I know we're short on time, so let's get straight into it. So I want to introduce you guys to Star. Star, can you hear us okay?
Yes, yes. Can you hear me?
Absolutely,
All
absolutely.
right.
Well, thanks again, of course, for taking time out of your day, stepping away from your business, your family, and just your schedule, to give this information that we want to go ahead and give today. So first off, I want to say we appreciate you for that.
And I appreciate you for having me on. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So before we go straight into it, I do want people to know, like, at least have a little bit of just a background of who you are so they know that, hey, listen, I'm getting the information from the right person. So start to give us a little bit of background. How did you even know to even give this type of financial or, information just right off the top?
Well, first off, it became like a little happenstance, but my background is in accounting and business. I got my degree in accounting and business, but I started working in credit unions in 2007 as a part-time teller, and then I went all the way up to back office operations manager. And so I've been now gone from the banking industry for almost a year, to be a year in September, that I came in to do my own business here at my shop for a whole year. But
Wow.
I've been in it, what, 15 years? So yeah, 15 years of being in the banking space from the front
Okay.
to the back.
Wow. Okay.
Hmm.
I can only imagine the type of stuff that you've seen,
Yeah.
especially in the banking industry. I'm sure big accounts, small accounts.
Yeah. I've seen them from, I can't, I don't, I've seen accounts from, I can't believe that far in the negative to, I can't believe that's that many zeros. Like,
Right.
so,
Yeah.
yeah, I've seen
That's what's
it.
up. That's what's up. Well, listen, I'm already knowing I'm gonna have to have you back on this channel because I have so many of our viewers, some of our members that have questions about like credit unions and credit unions versus XYZ. And I know just from your personal opinion, and of course, I don't want to be biased because obviously you used to work for a credit union, but in your own personal opinion, what are your thoughts on credit unions versus like traditional banking?
Well, before I came here into my shop, I worked 3 years. My last 3 years was in a traditional bank. So I've actually got experience in both worlds.
Wow.
So I see now that traditional banks are adapting to the credit union culture.
Hmm.
They really are.
Wow.
Even the big ones, Wells Fargo, Bank of America, your Chases, they are trying to adapt the credit union culture because the credit union culture is about relationships,
Hmm.
really.
Yeah.
They don't want to just look at you as a customer number, an account. They want to have a real relationship with you, and that's what credit unions have always been known for.
Yeah.
If your granddaddy or your grandma started the account, and then usually they bring in their kids, and then their kids are bringing their kids, so it's like a generational thing with the credit
Yeah.
unions, and that's what they love. And therefore they wind up forming relationships pretty much with the whole family,
Mm.
and the banks are realizing that they are really missing out on that
Yeah.
by not having that relationship. And so that's why now, you get a lot of stuff. Like I get stuff all the time about Chase, bring your family in. Do you got some kids? And you know what I'm saying? They are trying to adapt that same culture. Now the bank that I worked at was a small bank here in my town. Well, I won't even say a small bank because they operate in about 4 different counties.
Yeah.
So it's for here it's pretty big.
Okay.
But I would say that just me coming from a credit union,
Yeah.
and if anybody else was interviewing, they wanted me. You know,
Wow.
because they was like, oh my gosh, she's gonna bring, this
Hmm.
is what we're looking for. You know, we want somebody that understands we're trying to have this complete relationship. How do you forge this relationship from, okay, getting a checking account, also giving them other products and services, getting them on our online banking, getting them to use that debit card, everything, you know. And also, do they got a teenager that, because the kids now, they want to shop on Wish or whatever they doing now. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? You know, and all type of things. And so, and they know that they use these way
That's
more
right.
than we were, you know, because I'm
Yep.
in my 40s, don't want to give my age away. I got a 22-year-old. So
See?
so look, so they know that they, and not to say this to be mean, but it's just life. Your older customers that has usually the most money and the most stable,
Yeah.
well, they're leaving.
Mm. That's
So
right.
you got to keep it going, you
Yeah.
know, you got to
Yeah.
keep it going. And so they're trying to really do what the credit unions do, because like I said, the credit unions may start with granddad and grandma and then go
Yeah.
to the second parent and then the kids and then their kids, and then it just keeps going and keeps going generations. So that's what they're trying to do now.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
And you know what? Because you come from that industry, you see that happening versus the
Mm-hmm.
average person that just has a checking account somewhere, or they're using the next big talked about credit union, whether it's Navy Federal or Penn Fed or whatever, and they're not
Mm-hmm.
seeing that correlation like you're saying is, and banks are making that transition. I can see that.
Yeah,
I can most
they
definitely see
are.
that. All right. Well, here, let's go ahead and get into what you have been trending about. Okay. And and that's the thing. See, when you talk to people, guys, I want you guys to pay attention and take notes. Everybody get ready for this. When you talk to people who used to work in these industries where there's a lot, where people have a lot of questions about things, which is coming from the banking industry, the credit unions and things of that sort, there's things that they know about that the average person doesn't know about, or they don't see things a certain way, or they don't understand it a certain way. And that's why we're going to go ahead and give you guys what you came to get here to get today. All right. So, Star, if you wouldn't mind telling us, how can you even get multiple American Express cards with one inquiry? How can you? So, how does that work?
Okay, so when I got my first American Express card, I was going for a business card, because I've always had personal good credit, so no problem. And I know a lot of times, and a lot of people have started business, especially since 2020. So that's all the rave. How do you get business credit? How do you get business credit? Blah blah blah. And so I just took a shot in the dark because I use Amazon business side.
Okay.
Now, I get my business stuff from my store from Amazon Business and not Amazon personal side.
Mm,
And when you're on the Amazon business side, they're constantly throwing this Amazon American Express at you. Okay,
all the
apply for
time.
this, get $125 Amazon gift card, you know, blah blah blah. Keep throwing it at me. And I said, okay, I don't have any business credit. I'm on Dun and Bradstreet and all that jazz. But when you're trying to apply for business credit, they're not looking like through a big bank like American Express. They're not looking at Dun and Bradstreet. Okay, let's
Mm,
just be honest. Okay, they're not looking at that. So they're looking at your personal credit.
mm,
Okay, they're looking at your personal credit. Um, and their whole thing is with the business side, they're like, okay, if you're not responsible with your personal credit, then you're probably not going to be responsible with this business credit. Okay.
mm. Right.
So I applied for the American Express business Amazon card. I got approved. And I was like, oh my God, I got approved. It was $3,000. I was like, oh, okay, I'm in the ecosystem,
That's
you know,
good.
I'm
Right.
in the system now. So that's all you need. You just need that foot in, you know. And so that was in I think it was November of 2021.
Okay.
And so anyway, fast forward, I said, well, try my luck at a personal card, you know, since I'm in the door. So I wound up applying for the personal, I think it was the everyday cash card. And they did a I keep my let me back up. I keep all my credit frozen
Mm,
because I want to know who you pulling from.
that's right.
I let them deny me first. I do that on purpose. I
Mm,
let them deny me first because if I don't already know prior knowledge of who you pulling from, then I'm just gonna freeze them all. And then when you tell me, you send me the email and you be like, or you may send me a letter and say, okay, we could not grant you this credit because we was not able to pull your Equifax or we were not able to pull your TransUnion or your Experian. Then
mm.
guess what? Okay, let me unfreeze
Let me
that
unfreeze.
one.
Wow.
Yeah, let me
Wow.
unfreeze that one because sometimes, and unbeknownst to y'all, sometimes they'll pull all of them if you got them all unfroze, and they don't need but
Mm,
one technically,
right. Wow.
because some of them
Wow.
will. But
Yeah.
if but they got one core one that they're really looking at.
Mm.
They all have one core one.
Hey guys, real quick. If you're looking to improve your credit score, qualify for homeownership, get a high limit credit card, or lower your car payment, I can help you, okay? I've helped a lot of people. Even some of these people came from this channel. Some people are local, like these people behind me. Let me show you guys some quick examples. This client, this client, this client, this client, and yes, even this client. I've helped all of them improve their credit scores and accomplish their credit and financial goals. But check this out. Just for you guys watching this on YouTube, I'm going to give you guys a special promo code that you can use to go ahead and take advantage of my advanced credit blueprint, okay? To get started, all you got to do is just go to the link inside the description below and don't forget to use that promo code. Now let's get back to the video.
You know.
Wow.
So anyway, so why they wound up pulling my credits again, and I was like, why did you pull my credit again when I just got this business credit card?
Hmm.
So I got two hard inquiries, experience, and I was like, oh my god, you know. So few months down the line, they had another business card that I was looking at, and it's the business cash card, and I said, let me apply for that one. And when I applied for that one, my credit was still frozen.
Hmm.
Approved. South Pool.
Wow.
I
Wow.
applied for another personal card, approved.
Hmm.
South Pool.
Wow. Wow.
So what I learned is you need a personal card first, and then they will soft pull you for everything else,
See?
business as well.
Wow.
So if I had to win in the door personally first,
Yeah.
because that's what that relationship is. That's where that relationship starts. They want you to be a personal banker first before you become a business anything. And I didn't
Mm.
have anything personal. So that's where those that's why I was just saying about the relationship with the correlation of the credit unions and the culture. They want you to have a personal relationship with them as well. If you want to do business, that's cool. But let me get to know you personally first. Okay.
Yeah.
Let me see which how you doing personally. And then once I got this personal relationship with you, then yeah, I will give you everything you want after that, and I won't pull your credit anymore. We just got to update, make sure all your information is still the same, make sure that your income hasn't changed. And it's just simple as just updating a few little small information like that, but no more hard pulls.
Wow. And see, man, listen. I hope you guys have been taking notes on this because see,
Yeah.
she's dropping so many gems right now. Here's the thing:
Yeah.
I don't want you guys to miss this. She simply said that she froze these credit reports, right? These credit bureaus, okay. And essentially, now that she did that with those particular reports, now you can not only see which ones they're pulling, but if your score is not where you think it needs to be, at least you know which one to spend the most time on. That's number one. Number two, I've been telling you guys for years, that it's about the relationship that you build with the finance company. Guys, that's huge. Man, that's huge. So
Mm-hmm.
now, okay, so now we got that. So now we got the American Express credit cards, things of that sort. Do you think that process could work for any other brands, or have you tried that, or have you done anything else with any other type of credit card companies?
Yes, I have. Now I'm gonna tell you, Capital One is good for that. Once you're in, they start pull you. But let me tell you the caveat with Capital One. If your credit is not good, and I mean, say you got a 640 or a 680
Yeah,
with capital, and you want to apply for a Capital One, but you know you're building to get to the 700 and
yeah.
above, don't apply for Capital One until you are where you want to be, because Capital One will bucket you
Mm,
for life.
Wow.
For
Wow.
life. For life. Trust me. Because I got my first Capital One card years ago when Quicksilver first came out. I don't know
Mm-hmm.
if y'all remember Quicksilver had Samuel Jackson all on the commercials when they
Man,
first came out.
yeah. They
Okay.
don't do that. I noticed that.
Yeah,
They don't do that with him no more. Anyway, go ahead.
exactly. So it's a long time ago. So when I got that Quicksilver card, guys, $300 credit limit. I was static. I was
Yep.
static, because I did not have any credit at that time other than, I had got my card through the credit union I was working at, and that was pretty much all I had. So I was stoked to have it on my own. And so anyway, $300. I think my credit score at that time might have been anywhere between 600, 650. Wasn't terribly bad, but wasn't, great either.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I wound up getting that $300, and then over time of me paying the card, and eventually I got the limit up to 4,000.
Okay.
And I was like, okay. So last year, mind you, and I had this card probably well over 10 years. And,
Okay.
and over time, they increased it. Not me requesting an increase, they increased it.
Mm.
So I'm like, okay, I should be good now to really go for some of the really good cards.
Yeah.
So I applied for the Saver One, which I'm like, okay, my credit is in the depending on who you checking,
Yeah.
is no lower than 750 on any of them.
Right.
So they gave me a $2,000 limit with a 26% APR on a Saver One card.
Hmm.
And I'm like, huh?
Right. I just showed y'all I can build this up. Right. Crazy.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I've had this card at least 10 years, and I've never been late, and blase. And y'all have even increased it from the 300 to 4,000, and y'all only give me 2,000. And then you gave me the highest limit, and you didn't even give me the bonus.
Mm.
You didn't even give me the like. I think you had to spend like $200 or $300
Yeah.
or something like that. I mean, like $2,000, however much it was to get $200 like bonus or whatever.
Yeah.
And I was like, you didn't give me enough money to use the money to get the bonus. How can I
Wow.
spend 3,000 if you only gave me $2,000 limit without maxing my card out and then having to pay it back and then do it again, to even get the
Wow.
bonus. But then they didn't even offer me the bonus. They gave me
Wow.
26.99, and like, hell, you had that.
Have a nice day.
Have a nice day. And I was like,
Let's talk
and
about
then
that. So
yeah.
now, so now, when you say the word bucket, right? Because I know some of
Mm-hmm.
our viewers, they they might be necessarily savvy to the credit card jargon because a lot of stuff is out here now.
Mm-hmm.
What do you mean by credit? Like they bucket you?
So it's like, I know y'all have heard the term of bad credit, and then some people say, oh, they got A1 credit and all that
Yeah,
type of stuff, that
yeah.
lingo. And so wherever you were when you first applied with them, that's where you stay.
Mm.
So when I first applied with them, I was within the 600 and 650 range. So, like I said, that's not great credit, but it's not terribly bad either. I'm not in the
Correct.
500s,
Yep.
but that's where they saw me at. And going forward, that was my default, because there's no way I should have got a 26.99 APR, and that's your highest. And if I'm between 750 and
Yep.
800,
You
I
should the
don't
best.
expect to get the very best
Mm-hmm.
rate, but I should be somewhere in the middle,
Mm-hmm.
somewhere
For
in the
real.
middle.
Yeah.
So, and so you still giving me the same rate I got back when I had the 600 and 650.
Mm-hmm.
And so I test the water again by because I know it's the South Pool and I don't have to
Yep.
worry about getting it. So I test the water again just by applying to get a credit limit increase on my Walmart store card. So just, I got a 750 limit that I've had for years. Okay, let me increase the limit. They denied me. One,
Wow.
now mind you guys, I'm somebody that have a credit utilization that's 4%. It's never
Mm.
over 5%. And I got like $50,000 on the personal side of available credit.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's look at it like that.
Yeah.
These people went and give me an increase on $750 when
Wow.
I got like $50,000. They told me, okay, one, you don't use the credit that we give you.
Right. That
And
part.
that's what they told me. Okay, you
Yeah.
don't use the credit that we give you. And I was like, well, credit utilization matters.
Yeah. Huge.
Credit utilization matters. Because if I only have $750 worth of credit with you all, and say I want to go grocery shopping, that might be anywhere from $100 to $150. And then say I'm in there and I might just run up on this real nice air fryer, that might be another $100 or $150. Okay, so that's $300. I'm already over 30% of my credit. Now, I need to definitely pay that back off before the statement date, or that could possibly tank my credit score.
Absolutely.
Just because I didn't hit that 30% and I'm like really pushing the line. So no, I'm not going to use this card, because if I forget, I'm going to forget, because I got it on automatic to at least pay the minimum.
Yep.
That way I know I won't be late. So make sure that's another one. Make sure you at least have the minimum set on automatic. You'll never want to be late. Pay more, but at least the minimum so you're not late.
That's right.
So if for some reason I know that minimum is going to come out, but if I don't pay that other to get it back under that credit utilization, then this $750 card is no good to me.
That's right. Wow. Utilization's everything. Utilization matters.
Hashtag utilization.
Man, for real. For real. Because I think that a lot of people forget that. Like, a lot of times people focus so much on getting a certain type of card, or getting a certain limit, or getting with a certain brand. And then you got to realize these companies want you to use them, you know? So that plays a role. And if you're not using them enough, or it's almost like, I tell people all the time, it's a balance. Because if you're not using them if you're using them too much, now they're like, hey, hold on now, you know? So, but at the same time, it's being around that. I always tell people, be around that 30%, utilization or so. But obviously, if you want to see the most that your credit score can be, you need to be under that. But if you're doing like what you're doing, when you're trying to get a certain type of card, a certain type of limit, or things of that sort, they don't even necessarily have to make money off you. What's your take on that, as far as having a balance and then paying it in full? Do you feel like that's using it, or do you feel that you should be letting them make some money off you a little bit?
Well, I'll tell you what I do. I usually pay my balances back off. But here's the thing. You can be on two different ends of the spectrum with your credit. When you're trying to get in the door, like you're trying to rebuild your credit, and then you may typically go for cards that you wouldn't go for if your credit was good.
Right.
See, I'm on the end of the spectrum now, where rewards, points, can I get some free nights? Can I get some free air miles? Those things is what I go for now. But back when I was trying to get my credit over the 700, over the 750, I'm just happy to get a card.
Right.
Give me the $300 limit,
Yeah, for real.
You know what I'm saying? When you're on that end of the spectrum, okay, I wasn't, and this is something that I did not learn in my 15 years in banking, nor in college. They don't teach you credit utilization. So I would max that bad boy out.
Every time.
$300. Pay the $25 minimum. $275.
Yes.
Still got the balance of $275, and then wondering why my credit wasn't any good, because I didn't have any late payments, which is 35% of your credit score.
Yeah.
I did not have any late payments. So I'm like, why is my credit bad? I should not have bad credit. I don't have any collections. Why was my credit bad? Because I had 10 cards and they all was maxed out. 25,000. All of them was maxed out.
Wow.
Every last one of them.
Yeah.
And that's why my credit was still just riding in the 600 and the 650 range. Just riding.
Yeah.
For years, it rolled in that, And then one day I actually, was like, everybody keeps talking about credit cards is the best way to build your credit. So how is this possible? Because I've had credit cards all this time, and eventually I had up to like 10 cards. And I'm like, I use them. I pay them back. I use them.
Yeah.
But they don't tell you it's that utilization.
Utilization.
Your credit literally, when I learned that utilization game, guys, and I took it in a snowball effect, I literally paid each card off one at a time, snowballed it all the way up until my highest card with whatever one I owed the most on. And you can do this either way. You can do it by your highest interest rate. You can pay the highest interest rate card first and then go up, or you can pay the lowest and then go to the highest and how much you owe. I went from the lowest to the highest on how much I owe. It didn't matter about the interest at that point when you owe $25,000.
Right.
It don't really matter, because somebody's getting some money off of you either way.
They go right, some way,
Yeah,
somehow.
right. So it really didn't matter. I did it low to high because when you see that you paid one off, it gives you that momentum, it gives you that
It
drive. Like,
does.
okay, I got it knocked out. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So it gives you that confidence you need to keep going. So anyway, so once I did that, one card, $200 limit, had it maxed out, paid it off. My credit score, I think, went up like 20 points.
Mm.
I was like,
See?
rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. Over like 2 years,
Yeah.
rinse and repeat it
See?
till
That's
I
what's
got
up.
to where I'm at now. And that's how my credit score went up. It was just literally getting those cards. Even before I paid them off, it's just getting them under that 30%, that utilization. That is what's going to make your credit good.
That's right.
That's
Key.
what's going to make your credit good.
Wow. See,
Yeah.
guys, listen, Star's giving y'all not only game today, but she's confirming, she's certifying that,
Mm-hmm.
again, some of the stuff that we already know, right? It plays a major role. Because I think sometimes we forget this stuff. We know what to do, but then we start getting these offers. We get our first Amex card, nothing like that feeling getting your first Amex. I don't know why, right? and then we start using it, and they were like, "Man, why is my credit score?" Well, you forgot about the basics, you
Mm-hmm.
know. So that's huge. And this, I got one last question before we roll out of Head Start. With you being in coming from the credit union industry, what's your honest opinion about people? I won't say overhyping Navy Federal or PenFed. Like, in your opinion, can other credit unions give those same limits as well too, or have you seen that in your past? Or like that's the question.
Well, I'm going to tell you the truth. I just got into Navy Federal ecosystem, and I just got approved for the flagship card for the 20,000.
Wow. Okay. Congratulations.
Thank you. And
Now I'm about to
I'm gonna
actually let me
tell you,
hold some now. No, I'm kidding.
look. I'm gonna tell you though, they are the mecca.
Mm,
Navy is,
mm,
and the reason why is because they're everywhere.
big
And
time.
your local credit union might be just your local credit union.
Mm,
You know,
that part.
so it's the difference between being because the credit union I worked at the time when I left them, it was in 2016.
Yeah.
They were a $34 million credit union.
Mm,
So no, they're not gonna probably be giving out $20,000 limits all over the place. You
they
know,
can't afford it.
they can't afford it.
Mm,
So those are big credit unions. Your PenFed, your Navy's. Navy's got credit unions overseas.
mm,
Because they service all the military. So
yeah.
they're everywhere. And therefore, they got a lot of members because your $5 that secures your credit membership with them, that $5 times however many millions of,
Right.
of
Right.
customers they have, you know?
Wow.
Plus, and that's why credit unions are nonprofit. That's why they're
Mm,
nonprofit. All credit unions are nonprofit. It don't matter who it is. All credit unions are nonprofit organizations because your $5 is your share.
mm,
You are a shareholder.
got you.
You're a shareholder. Some credit unions might be 25. My credit union here is 25, and I got another credit union that's $5. And so, I'm in like three. Let me see, Navy, the one I used to work at, another one. I got four credit unions I'm a part of,
Okay.
and they all serve different purposes.
Mm,
The credit union I used to work at, they have the best safe deposit box rates. I got this big old safe deposit box for $34 a year.
wow.
You know what I'm
Okay.
saying?
Yeah.
And I keep my savings there too. And then the second one that I have, they have the best credit card rates.
Mm,
Their credit card rate is like 8%. You can't find 8%
not right
card rates
now.
anywhere. Yeah.
Anywhere for real.
That's what I say. So they got the best credit card rate. I got a credit card with them. I think it's like a $7,500 credit limit on that one. Great rate. If I do need to carry a balance, that's the card I'm putting on because that's the lowest rate card I got.
Mm,
Okay. So that's what that credit union is for. The other credit union that I have is where I get my cars. If I want to get a new car, me and my husband, if I want to finance, I'm going to them because I know I can get the best rate. They usually run anywhere between 2 and 3%
Mm.
on interest rates on their cars. So now that I'm in Navy, I want to see what all the hype was. Okay, let's get to the live limit.
Listen,
And
right.
and so yeah, I mean they just give it to you, you know. And one thing I do love about credit unions, and this is all over the board, not just Navy. I've heard, Navy is the same way, but this is all credit unions, guys. Listen to
Mhm.
this. They want a relationship with you. And when I say relationship, don't just get your money in the account and then go to the ATM and take it out. That's not a relationship. Because if you have bad credit,
Yeah.
okay, if your credit is not good, I mean, like any 650 and below, if you have a relationship with that bank where your money is coming in there, you're using your debit card, you're using their online banking, they are making money off of you that way with interchange fees from your debit card. You're getting e-statements because you don't usually read the paper statement. You're gonna throw it away anyway. So you might as well save your money on those statements
Yeah.
and just get the e-statement. You are also utilizing their services, their online banking, all that type of stuff. They look at that.
Mm.
And so when you need a loan or you want a new car, they're going to look at, okay, Susan, her money comes in here every week or every 2 weeks when she gets
Mhm.
paid. I see where she pays her bills. She uses her debit card, blah, blah, blah. She's been a member with us for X amount of years. We don't give her a chance. And I've seen this countless of times in my 15 years. I've seen it. So this is not what I think. This is what
Yeah.
I know.
Wow.
I've seen people get a car loan with a in the 400s before.
Mm.
In the 400s at the credit union I used to work at. And even in credit unions, you got to understand, if you go through a finance company, which the credit APR could be anywhere from 20 and 30. I did accounting for a dealership. I used to see APRs on a car loan that was the same amount as the car.
What?
Like they
Are
didn't
you
pay for that car
serious?
in another one. Yes, yes. Like I literally saw this.
Wow.
Like this was so crazy to me, guys. And I don't want to hold you up, but I
Yeah.
saw this, and it's like, okay, dude, they're not going to tell you these things, but you have to have these relationships. You
Mhm.
have to have these relationships in order to make sure that you are getting the best rate and getting the best options available for you
Yeah.
when it comes to your credit. Because if you're going to get a car loan that's going to be like 5 and 6 years, you don't
Mhm.
want no 18 and 20 and 30%.
Mm.
And most of the
Mm.
times the credit union is going to cap it off. They have their high limit, and their highest limit might only be 11%.
Mm. Right. Okay.
And that might be their highest limit.
Yeah.
I mean,
Wow.
not limit, but APR.
Yeah,
I'm
APR. Yeah,
sorry.
I got you. The
That might be
limit
their
that they'll
highest.
go up to. Correct.
Yeah,
Wow.
that might be their APR is 11%
Mm.
versus the bank might be 18%, or your local finance company might be 30%.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
See, that's why you see, guys, this is why you guys have to talk to people that come from these industries, right? They again, she saw that for years. That this information is so key because people, I think so many times they don't either ask enough questions or they're just winging it. They don't do any research. And you got to know that a credit union could benefit. It sounds like to me, most people, depending on how you're using your finances and things of that sort. But that's most definitely another take, on credit unions and such. Well, listen, guys, I know y'all want to have Star back, okay? So we most definitely gonna have her back, for sure. So Star, of course, all the stuff that you're dropping, I'm sure you want people to find you in some kind of way. And and again, Instagram is the best way to essentially get a hold of you, correct? Not a
Mhm.
hold of you,
Uh,
but to
yeah,
follow you and such.
they can follow me at Sim Privilege. That's my business. I don't have a page for what I'm doing now with the
Yeah.
credit and everything, but you can email me at starknowscredit@gmail.com if you want to chat me up.
Yeah.
I don't mind talking to anybody.
Absolutely. Thank you again, Star. Have a good one, okay?
Okay, y'all. Thank you.